أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers, welcome to our program, Our Pledge. On this program, we bring you deeper insights into initiation into Islam Ahmadiyya, the true Islam. Last week on the program, we looked at the first initiation into Islam, which was associating partners with Allah. On the program, we learned that associating partners with Allah is a great sin and attracts punishment from Him. To look at the second condition of initiation into Islam Ahmadiyya, we are privileged to be joined today by Al-Hajj Ahmed Suleiman Anderson, Naib Amir III of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Ghana. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
To start, what is the second condition of initiation into Islam Ahmadiyya?
Thank you once again. Before anybody becomes a member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, it means that the person has accepted the promised Messiah alayhi salam and is willing to become his follower. And there are certain conditions, like you rightly said, which makes one a true Ahmadi Muslim. The first one we have discussed. The second one is for the initiate or the person who has or is ready to sign the Bai'at to declare that he or she will move away from falsehood. He or she will move away from fornication or adultery. He or she will move away from looking at things that he is not supposed to look at. In other words, he will have to cast his eyes down, which we call trespassing of the eye. He or she will have to move away from debauchery, dissipation. He or she will have to live honestly. In other words, avoid dishonesty, cruelty, rebellion, and things like that. And then he or she is committed or should be committed to the point that he will not allow himself or herself to be carried away by his passion, however strong those passions are. So these sins, if you like, have been put together as one of the 10 conditions by which somebody becomes a member of the Ahmadiyya community. So the person, it doesn't mean that these are exhaustive, but it means that they are the major ones to which are connected all other sins that one can think of. So once you are able to overcome these ones, which number about 9 or 10, which have been put together, once you are able to overcome them, the likelihood of you succeeding in avoiding all other minor sins is high. And so it puts you in a position that you are able to control yourself, you are able to deal with any situation, and you are able to, count yourself proudly as a member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
This second condition is actually packed, and looking at all that you mentioned about nine things joined together, and lying today or avoiding falsehood. Today, I don't know how it can be possible. People see lying as a normal thing. How do you want Ahmadi to live differently from this?
You see, lying or falsehood in the Holy Quran and in many other verses of the Quran has been likened to shirk. What it means is that the person finds security, finds himself secured in lying, believing that telling the truth will expose him to some punishment or some discomfort. And so he is now taking protection, seeking refuge in lying. But so to speak, like I said, Quran links it to shirk, and you know how grievous shirk is. In our world today, falsehood, to me, is the root of all evils. If one is able to speak lies, there is nothing else that the person cannot do. In fact, at one point in time, the Holy Prophet ﷺ linked it to hypocrisy as well. That if you are a liar, then you are just like a hypocrite. And all these traits, if found in a person, tells you that the person is impure and is not capable of communicating properly with the Almighty Allah. Reason being that, the Holy Prophet has said, truthfulness and chastity leads to virtue, and virtue will lead you to paradise. But falsehood and adultery will lead you to disobedience, and disobedience will definitely convey you to hell. So if you put all these things together, it tells you how grievous falsehood is. In politicking today in our part of the world, it is falsehood which is breeding corruption. Somebody says something, especially in politicians, makes a promise, a campaign promise. Then when the time comes for him to fulfill, he will ask you whether he made that promise on the campaign platform or on somewhere else. If it's on campaign platform, then it means that he knows that he will not fulfill it. So he just said it. So that if we are engaged in falsehood, there is, like I said, there is nothing else that you cannot do. And so there was a time when somebody went to the Prophet ﷺ to ask him how he could, avoid sins, because the person felt that he was very weak in committing sins, and so he wanted to find a way of avoiding or moving away from his sins. The Prophet gave him only one advice, that he should always tell the truth. He should not tell a lie. Now, this single act, or this single piece of advice that was given to the person, following it, the person was able to move away from all his sins. Why? Because within him, he felt that if at any point in time he committed any sin and he was brought before the Holy Prophet ﷺ, two things could happen. Either he will be disgraced or he is punished. And so he will be disgraced or punished because he will have to tell the truth. In other words, if he also lied, then it means he has disobeyed what the Prophet, advised him to do. So, keeping in mind the fact that he will not tell lies, then anytime he was confronted with any sin, committing any crime, this will cross his mind and he will move away, from doing so. So that is how come this has become an integral part of the second condition for which one must commit himself to before he is properly called an Ahmadi Muslim.
Okay. So if a politician promises on a campaign platform and does not fulfill, do we say he lied?
Well, once you spoke, once you uttered those words, as far as we are concerned, you have uttered them, and it's a promise you must fulfill. If you know from your heart something that you cannot do, then you don't say it. Otherwise, what it means is that you only deceive the people in getting what you want. And that is exactly what falsehood does. Falsehood carries deception with it. And it is something that will move you closer to apostasy, if you like, because you will soon deny very important things that you have already said. For example, you have said that you abstain from shirk. If you abstain from shirk, and then something happens, and then you now say, oh, I said something different, you are not committed to it, it has become a lie, and you have become a rebellion. It can lead to so many things. So weigh your words before you say them. Once the words comes out of your mouth, you must see them as a bond, and you must commit yourself to it and dutifully honor the promise. If it is a promise, honor it. Or be sure that whatever you are saying is what you know to be the truth. Even if you can, you see, the truth must be spoken even if it is against yourself or it's against your kindred. In other words, your family members, your father, your mother, or your brother. Whoever has something to do with you, in all your dealings, you must be truthful. So bearing witness here will mean that if the witness you are giving is to send your father to jail, but it is the truth, you must say it, regardless of the consequences. So that is how important it is for an Ahmadi Muslim to commit himself to speaking the truth.
In Ghana, we have what we call political talk. So politicians can talk anyhow. Can we say they've lied?
If you talk anyhow, without basis, if you talk anyhow, and you know that it is not the facts, you are lying. And like I said, as a politician, you are a leader. You are yearning to become a leader of the people. The people must give you their trust. You are somebody that when we give you our trust, you must be able to return the trust that we are giving you. So if you think that you are on a particular platform, and therefore that one does not compel you to speak the truth, then you don't deserve to become our leader. And that is why we are suffering in this part of the world. Because people think that once they mount a political platform, their objective is to say things that will make people believe in them, knowing very well that they themselves don't believe what they are saying. And so when people speak like that, they don't deserve to become leaders. And it is the bane of our problems today, because people are not committed to the truth. They say all manner of things because in the name of politics, and they win power and they are not able to fulfill the promises that they made on the campaign platform. They said things that will only bring their opponents down, knowing very well that they were not the truth, but they have said so. And like you rightly said, if you ask them, they say that was a political campaign, a political talk. But there shouldn't be anything like political talk differently from what the reality should be.
So from what you are saying, people who mount political platform, when they become possessed, we should hold them accountable to their words.
Every word that every politician speaks, we, the people, must hold them to it. Doing so will make them sit up. Doing so will make them feel that they cannot take the people for granted. Doing so will mean that they themselves, are aware of the fact that Allah will take them to account for what they are saying, and therefore will be mindful of the things that they say. And so, yes, the people must demand truthfulness from them, and the politicians, when they become aware that the people will only take the truth, but not anything short of that, then they will sit up. And once they sit up, it means that they will say the right thing and they will do the right thing, and the benefit will be there for all of us, to gain.
Looking at the account you are giving, it is right that truthfulness is the way to go. How can a few Ahmadi in the Ghanaian society affect the change that we yearn for?
Let me use a local analogy. We have charcoal, which is very black. But once you put a small ball of fire in the charcoal, within a short time, every piece of charcoal in the coal pot becomes fire. What therefore this means is that it doesn't matter how small Ahmadis are. If Ahmadis will practice this pledge that they are making on the hands of the Khalifa or a prophet, or for that matter on the hands of Allah, if Ahmadis will live by it, it will shine. It will become light which will benefit the general society. All others will be able to point to it, that, hey, this is the way to go. Look at the life of these people. They are truthful, they are honest, they do not tell lies, and so they will want to learn from you, and they will come closer. You will draw them to yourself. You will become like a magnet which will draw the people to your side. And once you draw the people to your side, they will come and learn from you. So the more people learn from you, the more your truthfulness affect or infect all other part of the community. And generally, everybody becomes truthful. So it doesn't matter, like I said, however few Ahmadis are. Even if there's one Ahmadi in any particular community, and the people in that community know him to be the most truthful in that community, he alone will be able to effect a change in the entire society. So it doesn't really matter whether Ahmadis are few or Ahmadis are more. Once we are committed to this condition of our Bai'at, we will be able to change the entire society.
In other words, Ahmadis, wherever they are, be it politics, medicine, education, health, wherever, they should live by this condition.
Wherever and however you are living, an Ahmadi cannot and should not and must not move away from the truth, move away from this particular condition. Because if you move away from it, then you have more or less disassociated yourself from the community. And the Prophet Messiah will not count you as a member of his community. So you are taking an oath. Remember, this is an oath that you are taking. And once you take an oath, you must fulfill your part of the oath, true and true. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter whether you are a politician, because Ahmadis are expected even to lead in the politics. If we lead in politics and lead with truthfulness, then we will change the face of politics as it is in the not only in Ghana, but I believe in the whole world.
Like you will not be hearing about corruption in larger...
Exactly, because falsehood breeds corruption. So once you do away with falsehood, you are doing away with everything that is associated with falsehood. So, because in an office, people come, they sign contract, but before the contract are signed, all manner of presentations are made. And the presentations that are made before the contract are signed becomes the substance of the contract. So if they are premised on lies, then it means the end result will be lies, and they eventually will hurt the general society. Because it's only benefiting the people who are pending their signature, or people who have something to do, with the contract. So yes, we must be able to do away with falsehood. We must be able to, because Allah says that He does not guide the ungrateful liar. Now look at the connection again. The liar has been described as ungrateful. You see, so if first of all we said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when you tell lies or falsehood is linked to shirk. I have also said that the Holy Prophet ﷺ has described it as hypocritical. It's a hypocrisy, and here we are talking about ungratefulness. So you can see the chain of events that falsehood will lead to. So that if you are able to do away with one thing which is falsehood, so many other things will become beneficial. We'll be able to do away with them.
Can we also describe falsehood to be a disease?
In fact, falsehood is an idol. That is what the Prophet Messiah described it. That falsehood is an idol, and so you must move away from it. It is a disease, but you must be able, whatever disease that affects human being, there is a remedy for it. There is a cure for it, and the cure is what we are talking about. Be able to do away with it. Be able to tell the truth. Be able to stand firm. Be able to become trustworthy. In fact, if you engage in falsehood, what you do is that you lose your credibility, to the extent that even when you begin speaking the truth, You will speak the truth because you are known to be a liar. Even when you speak the truth, people think that there is some element of falsehood in what you have said. And so your credibility here is even put on the line, simply because you are known to be engaged in one particular thing, which is falsehood. So it affects every aspect of your life.
You are watching the program Our Pledge, where we bring you concise and comprehensive insights into the conditions of initiation into Islam Ahmadiyya, the true Islam. Today, we are joined by Naib Amir III in the person of Alhaj Ahmed Suleiman Anderson. In the earlier when in your submission, you mentioned debauchery, dissipation, adultery, trespass of the eye. Briefly, can you explain them?
Yes, let's even take the point of adultery. The Quran says that come not near unto adultery, for it is a foul thing, and it is an evil way. Here, look at the description. Allah says, don't come. He's not even advising you not to do it. He says, don't come near, let alone committing it. So that it is another grievous sin to be committed by anybody. And so the conditions for one to become an Ahmadi says that you should move away from adultery and from fornication. The issue here is that if fornication or adultery has also been linked to falsehood, it has also been linked to falsehood as well. So that if anybody is engaged in it, it is something that affects your whole human body, and it deforms you spiritually if you are engaged in things like that. So the Prophet advised that you should move away from such things that are adulterous. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad in describing it, saying that don't come near adultery, he expanded it to mean that don't come near will mean that don't even think of anything that will create the thoughts in your mind. Sometimes we watch certain films and movies, and there are scenes in those movies which will draw the person's mind to think things of this nature. Or we even watch movies, or let's say films, let me be blunt, for pornographic films. People are committing adultery in it, and you are also watching it. In effect, you are also committing adultery with the same people, even though you are not involved in the act. But you are doing something that is drawing you near and nearer to the act. So even when you are engaged in talks, the kind of conversation that you are engaged in can also corrupt your mind, can also create that fornication thoughts on your mind. And so when the Prophet ﷺ says that don't come near adultery, is expanded to all this, it's all trying to say that once you begin to do some of these things, it will become difficult for you to move away from the act itself. So it is important that we are not only mindful of the act as in fornication per se, but every other thing that will lead you
into doing
fornication.
It. In your submission, you also mentioned about trespassing of the eye. What accounts for trespassing of an eye?
Yes, there are many of those sins that have been mentioned here. Trespassing of the eye can easily link you to fornication and adultery. In other words, you must not look at things that you are not supposed to see. You see, people are, with the adultery issue, people are asked to remain chaste and protect their chastity. So that if you are walking about and then you chance to see something that you are not supposed to see, what trespassing of the eyes here will tell you that you should cast your eyes low. Restrain your looks is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. that men are asked to restrain their looks, so that you do not go about peeping your eyes into things that you are not supposed to see. Because when you do that, you are likely, and the likelihood of you going into fornication is so high. Now, if even you are, it's an advice not only given to men, or sometimes we think that it's only women who must observe parda, cover their eyes and so on and so forth. No, it's not only women. Men are also advised to restrain themselves in their looks. They should not be looking at everything that they come across. And so the trespassing of the eye is another important thing that we need to observe, because failing to observe that can easily and very easily lead you to adultery or fornication. A man, if you are not able to control your emotions, the advice the Holy Prophet has given is that you must be fasting. You must engage yourself in fast. And when you are engaged in fasting, it reduces that desire in you to be doing things that you are not supposed to do. And so if you are a man and you are of marriageable age, the advice is that it's human nature that the opposite sex attracts. And so in order for you not to go outside your authorized zone, once you come to the age of marriage, you don't have to delay. You must be able to quickly do that. If you do not have the means to do it immediately, then the first advice comes in. You must be fasting. You must engage yourself in regular fast. And doing so will reduce that desire and urge in you to be attracted to the opposite sex.
For how long should you fast if you are not still getting the means?
Yes, but why are you not getting the means? The means doesn't mean you should build mansions. It doesn't mean you should have whatever before you go into marriage. Once you have something to live on, once you are able to find yourself food to eat, you must be able to provide food for another person. I mean, it doesn't matter how low your income is, but be able to manage it, because this has also become part of you, and you need to. In fact, if you do not marry, your faith is said to be half. You become complete only when you are married. Unfortunately, this day and age, what you find is that young people are not married, but they do what married people do.
Yes.
And that is fornication here. So if you cast your eyes down, trespassing of the eye, that is what it really means. Casting your eyes down or restraining your looks. If you cast your eyes down or you restrain your looks, then you will not get into that point where you will have to go near adultery or fornication. And when you are persistently urged to do so, then you must know that you must find a means to be able to marry. And Ahmadi Muslims should not be shy of doing any menial jobs that will give you income. If there is no job available for you to earn so much big income as you want, once there's something for you to live on, you must be able to grab it and then use that one to marry and live a useful life.
We are hard pressed for time, but we'll take your final comment, 30 seconds.
That is to say that when you take a pledge, be sure that you will go by the word. The Prophet has advised us to be truthful. Truthfulness will lead you to virtue, and virtue will lead you to paradise. If you go into lies or falsehood, what it will do to you is that falsehood will take you into disobedience, and disobedience will convey you to hell. And so you should be able to move away from falsehood.
Well, viewers, this third time will allow us on the program today. We were joined by Naib Amir III in the person of Alhaj Ahmed Suleiman Anderson. We thank you so much for being with us. Thank you.
Mantanka batugi na venkumo ndana.